but Dad, and because he had this motorcycle, he wore this gray rubber coat that the SS wore. Okay, the SS were dressed in gray uniforms and everything, and that raincoat that shed water literally like rubber was also gray. So Dad, riding in the open, wore one of those coats. So they said, okay, he was with the SS. Well, Dad was barely 5'2". He would have never made it. But he was definitely not kosher. So he had to come before a tribunal. He and thousands of others. So they investigated, and they finally nailed him because he was a member in 1933, which was very early in the life of the party. So they sentenced him to a year in prison. No, 5 years. 5 years. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And into a prison in a prison in Lunenburg, which was, I would say, like from here to, I don't know, Cape Cod. No, a little further. Anyway, doesn't matter. We visited him on his 50th birthday. And he looked so sad. He had the prison garb on, believe it or not, black and white stripes and all that. But he knew what was going to happen. And he had all the schematics for that elevator, okay? He built the doggone thing. And in this house was a room that was paneled. Supposed to be Hitler's workroom, his office. He had to work up there, ludicrous, okay? But the panels were removable. So Dad put all the panels, all the plans, all the drawings in back of a panel, fixed it up again, nobody would know, and nobody could find any information. Oh, all right, and he had a buddy, and his buddy was Kurt. He was the driver of Emma Göring, okay, and he worked with Father on the elevator on a daily basis, and he said to Kurt, listen, don't do it right away, but if I'm in there for any length of time, why don't you pull a wire here and short out this thing and then and move this over here, and you will be surprised of the result. Okay. Well, I think Dad was in prison maybe a year, where Kurt figured, okay, now is a good time and they won't nail me for this. He sabotaged the elevator, and it didn't work. Okay, so all right. Plans, where are the plans? I don't know. I've never had anything to do with the schematics of this thing. Well, okay, where's the man that built this thing? He's in prison. He's in prison? Yes. Political? Yes. Criminal? No. Political? Yes. Okay, let's get him out. We got him out. Okay? And miraculously, 2 days later, the elevator worked. It was a favorite place for anybody that wanted to come and see where all this took place. We were only bombed because they thought Hitler was going to move from Berlin and make this his headquarters. So everybody that had any influence, we had people come. The High Commissioner of all of Germany came, wanted to see what it was like. Absolutely, okay? So the day was safe, the elevator was running, and Dad was out of the pokey. So
what year did your dad get out of the pokey?
I would say 1948.
Oh, okay.
That's where the war raged, destruction. All right. 75% of the German men did not come back from the war. Some of them had died and others were in Russian prison camps, and the Russians didn't give them up.
No.
They kept them, okay? So these women were alone with their children, no way to earn a living. If you were a teacher, you were lucky if the school hadn't been hit, okay? But most women at that time, Hitler was preaching a woman's place, kitchen, church, not so much, but children. Definitely children, as many as possible, okay? So a woman didn't have a profession, but you know what they did? Fortunately, it was summer. They sat by the side of the road in their cities and they cleaned bricks. And we call them Trümmerfrauen, that means rubble women. They had this little hammer and they cleaned the bricks and piled them up. And according to how many bricks they had cleaned, they got paid for them and they got ration cards. It was a way to provide, first of all, building material, because everything else was destroyed. They had to use the stuff that was still there. And secondly, it gave these women an income. Okay, talked to my friend a week ago in Munich. And he said, all right, outside of Munich in a park is a huge boulder that they brought from somewhere. Gorgeous piece of granite. And there's a plaque on there in commemoration and thanks to all the rubble women that helped clean up and re-establish Munich. Okay? Fine, I think it's commendable because they had their little kids around them and cleaning bricks day in, day out, if it rained or not, because they needed the money. You know what? There's something going on in Munich right now, protesting against that plaque because some of these women were obviously Nazis. It's sick. It's sad.
Ridiculous.
Okay? As if they had a choice that their husband had to go to war. Anyway, human nature. Anyway, I think I've just about, we finally moved off of that hill when they built a new housing unit down in the village. My mother was never happy in the area anyway, but at least living down in the village was better. And Dad had opportunity to put his name in for an apartment, and we moved. My sister stayed up in that house that I showed you prior because she had married by then and had 2 children. And that's when I met Charlie down in the village. I went to school, finished high school, wanted to be a lawyer. It would have been great, didn't it? Me and my gift of gab. But the only opportunity I had to go into that field was to go into the monastery in Salzburg to begin with philosophy. Believe it or not, that's how you start a law career. Study philosophy, and it was deadly. It was like watching paint dry. I stuck it for 2 semesters, and then I said, no, I'll do absolutely anything else but sit here another 3 months and listen to this. But anyway, I got a job with the army in an officer's hotel behind the desk, and I filled out here, there, and everywhere, and that's where I met Charlie, and the rest is history. You're very...
What year was that? What year?
Did I meet Charlie?
Well, I mean, you know, things
50,
changed and you
1950.
moved on, and
1950, and we got
by
married in
1950
53.
things had.
Oh yeah, the
Changed.
Americans tried very hard to feed us, but you know what they gave us, unfortunately.
Beer ration?
No, egg powder, which worked. You could make scrambles. And the other thing that we just couldn't get acquainted with was marshmallows in a jar, and it was so cloyingly sweet, and you couldn't even, we didn't even like it on bread, but they tried. And fluff, yeah. But you know, we survived. Nobody that I know of died of hunger. You just find different ways to cook. Whatever you can find. We had little gardens, and then little bunny rabbits would come and eat most of it.
Garden.
I must stress that I missed.
Did you meet your husband at the General Walker Hotel?
No, General Walker was up on the hill. He
Yeah.
was stationed down in the valley. In the,
Oh, okay.
Okay, I kept thinking.
you know the town at all? There was a hotel called Deutsches Haus. That's where he was billeted. He was
Okay.
with the military police.
Oh, okay.
So
Because I had heard that the General Walker Hotel was destroyed.
it
or
was.
torn down.
They torn it down. believe
And
it
the
or not.
SS headquarters was below it, and that's gone?
That was this SS headquarters had been bombed, totally.
Okay.
That was destroyed.
Because
But the
we
General
were over
Walker-
there in the 70s, and we
Yes.
went up there, and where you're showing,
Yes.
because I was an Army wife,
Yes.
and midway through in 76, my parents came over, and we went
We went to the Eagles Nest.
Eagles Nest, and the
Yeah.
ironic part was our tour bus director, Ingrid, her boss worked with you at Simon's?
No, her husband was stationed at Fort Devens,
Uh-huh.
Okay,
and so they were living on
Bowtell Street.
Bowtell Street in Fitchburg.
It was just so weird. I mean, here we are, and the thing is, and I don't know if it's the same now, but going up there, I just remember the tour bus, and one bus could go up at a time.
And you come to a
And
place
you
where
come to a
one
thing,
fall over.
and my
the
mother
other
was
one came
sitting
down.
over here, and she was always hyperactive. I mean, it was just the three of us.
And you look down there.
And she looked down because the bus, one of the tires got over the thing, and I said, oh my God, we're almost there, and we're gonna tumble
Yeah.
all the way down. And I don't know if it's the
It's a
same.
frightening road, still the same.
It's still the same.
Absolutely, but the guardrails are back up.
Oh, the guardrails.
And it's a money maker. This house is
It's
millions,
beautiful,
2-3 million visitors come every year.
Yeah,
It's a restaurant up in there, and
yeah, it's a little restaurant.
yeah.
And you look down on the clouds, and I thought, this is the most
Oh,
fascinating.
yeah, I must show you that.
Thing.
Jim,
Somewhere.
would
Looking for
you
the elevator?
come all the way to the last picture? I gotta give that to you. This is my favorite picture in that whole thing. See the house?
Yeah,
So there's no way to get up there, just a footpath. It's all inside. Here's the bus, up there's the house, and he fell off somewhere like that.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
yeah,
yes, and there's the road,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
the
some of
elevator.
these footpaths. This is all new. This was here. Has all been added because it's now an eating place, a restaurant. I tell you another really juicy story. Mrs. Borman, would you back up just one? Mrs. Borman was perpetually pregnant. I will give another child to my leader, mein Führer, okay? And she had this innocent idea that if she had high altitude air, the child would be exceptional. So she had a driver take her up, weather permitting, and she had a lawn chair, and she laid in here.
oh,
Okay.
Oh my God.
Now, there were windows inside the house that you could look down onto the
Sure.
area.
mhm.
And of course, she had to go with a guard, a couple of guards, and then she'd be up there 2-3 hours, and the guards, this is all from my dad, would look out the window. She says, she's still there. For so long, is she going home? My wife says, I ought to be home at so. But that was how she spent her afternoons. The poor woman died of cancer.
Oh.
After the war, the children were dispersed. There were 9 of them, and the 10th one growing. They were all dispersed everywhere. One of the boys said, I have an uncle in Munich, but it didn't cut any ice. They sent them to farmers, to the oldest daughter married a dentist in Tyrol, died of I have no idea what illness. I was in correspondence with one of the girls, but I tell you, what she wrote to me, I just couldn't swallow any longer, so we gave that up. She was under the total illusion that her father was a saint, and he was very far from it. Okay, let's see what we got to the end. That's the cabin, in case you haven't seen this before.
Oh, wait, that's
That's
in
the
the
tunnel. That's the entrance to the to the tunnel in there, and the house is up there.
Now,
You were the one, Billy boy, that did all this for me. Aren't you nice?
Be
Okay.
that, excuse me, the picture on the top is,
That's
top
a-
right,
Yes, this one here, it's the elevator.
that is
The
the
cabin.
That's the inside of
And
the elevator.
they thought it was gold. Would you believe that? When they came there and they saw this, and of course it was brass and it was highly shiny,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
They thought the whole cabin was gold. Can you imagine the weight of this?
Gold.
Anyway,
Yeah, the,
all right, let's see what else we got. That's the entrance. This is a more recent picture. Lots of tourists. That's the tunnel into a rotunda. And here is where Gerda Bormann used to lay. See the windows? Could look down on here. I don't know if it did anything for the kids, but she enjoyed it. There was another room that was called the Naughty Pine Room. Very nice. Look down over the mountains. This is original. Okay. This is all touristy stuff here. That wasn't here. There's the village down below. Okay? And this is the area, we moved out of this, I didn't want to touch on that because it would lead too far. We moved out of the restricted area because my mother kept agitating and agitating. And have you ever had a woman that agitated? She got her wish and we moved in here, that this was all destroyed and they rebuilt it. We moved, let's say, about here. But it was not in the restricted area anymore, okay? Austria is over there. See, it shows you a little bit closer. And that's the lake, Lake Königssee, very pretty, and that's the valley here. Yeah. A lot of paths, walkways, yes. And a road out here to Sound of Music,
Yeah,
over here, was all filmed in this area. That's where it took place.
yeah.
Yeah. There again, it's the township and it's the river. We lived, when we were bombed out and we went down into the friend's house, let's say we lived around here, a house. And because there was no store in the place and there no bus service, everything after the bombing, although not one bomb fell, everything stopped. No train service, no bus service, nothing. We walked, my sister, my mother and I, to town, about to here, to see if we could get something to eat. I mean, buy food, anything, whatever, I don't care. I don't know, I
you
don't
enjoy
really,
looking at this now. It's
Yeah.
so familiar to you.
yeah, very pretty. That's the township, that's Berchtesgaden.
Berchtesgaden.
Is that what it looks like? Because I haven't been there since '76.
This is maybe 8 years old, that photo.
Okay, so
Yeah, this is a river, this thing here. Okay.
Can I ask impart some information? I got there in 1950, and the town, there was two places. One was Berchtesgaden and one was Garmisch.
yes.
And there were rest and recreation areas for all the troops in Yukon. If there's any people from France, we used to get GIs from Austria, Italy, you name it. And